guys feeling that? You guys feeling that? He's not doing the cooking show anymore.
Hey, when you beat somebody by 100, you're having a good time.
I'm just glad this isn't the NFL. He'd get a penalty for that,
right? He can fly. Hey, welcome to The Jump, everybody. I am Ramona Shelburne, sitting in for Rachel Nichols, who apparently needed the day off to finish her Christmas shopping. Dude, Amazon Prime. Everybody does that now. Where have you been, Nichols? I am joined by the pride of Wake Forest, Tom Haberstroh, and NBA champion Steven Jackson. And we are down to 4 days until the first game that really matters this year in the NBA. Cavs-Warriors on Christmas Day. Game 8. The trilogy continues. It's been great theater so far. You remember this t-shirt? Ultimate Warrior. And these Halloween cookies.
Wow.
And that tweet. All great theater. But is it good for the NBA to have two teams this dominant? I mean, Vegas can't even pretend anyone else has a good chance to derail another Cavs-Warriors final.
I just bet the house on the Sixers. Bad idea?
I mean, sure will, Tom. Sure will.
Uh-oh.
I mean, there have been some great stories thus far in the NBA. The Rockets going full D'Antoni, Russell Westbrook going full Hulk, the Grizzlies defying Amino Hassan, John Hollinger, and basically all conventional wisdom and modern science. But raise your hand if you can make a compelling argument for any team other than the Cavs or Warriors to be playing in June. Tom, Jack, anybody?
I'm not picking anybody else.
I mean, is this good for the NBA when it feels like there's such a huge gap between numbers 1 and 2 and everybody else?
You want to say Spurs, but you just don't know.
You can say Spurs. Go ahead.
But I want to, but I don't
Give
want
yourself.
to. I want, I just know how great Golden State is, how great Cleveland is, and I don't see nobody challenging Cleveland. But, hey, we'll see. But these two teams are definitely leading.
The drama of this season has been individual performances. That's been the allure of this season. You have Russell Westbrook triple-doubles, James Harden with his assists. But ultimately, I don't think anyone's getting excited about the 3 through 30 in the NBA. I think this is going to be a Warriors-Cavs finals. The Warriors have outscored opponents by 378 points since November 5th. And no one else is within 150. No one else is within 150 points since November 5th.
There's usually a moment, though, where every team and every front office is there. We're one trade away. If we can just go make that one trade, that one impact trade, maybe we have a chance. I don't know that you can say that this year. And it takes away some of the drama of the trading deadline, and it takes away some of the drama of the playoffs, where a team is basically sitting there hoping somebody slips on some water on the court.
Well, in the West,
they're hoping Draymond Green gets suspended for Game 5.
Exactly. And we know in the West, if you are one player away, then you're talking about the Clippers, a team like that's one player away. A lot of teams, Clippers maybe, a one player away, but a lot of teams in the West are not one player away. The only player that can get the team, the East can get help with one player away, not in the West.
Yeah, you talk about the Warriors, they lose the finals. They were one player away from winning the finals, and they got Kevin Durant, like a former MVP. Just when you think, oh, man, right. They just ran through the regular season 73-9, and then they get a 2014 MVP.
You watched Roseanne, you remember that show?
Yes.
Remember one year when they just recast Becky? She probably wanted more money in her next contract, and they just got a new Becky? They just got a new Harrison Barnes. And his name is Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
On steroids.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Now from the be careful what you wish for department, the Cavs beat the Bucks by a combined 17 points on back-to-back nights. But Kyrie Irving is still thinking about the one that got away. That would be the Cavs' 17-point loss to the Bucks on November 29th. Take a listen to Kyrie last night.
They're a very young team. It would be great to go 4 games against them. I'm fired up to go against them every time now, for real. Because ever since they kicked out of Milwaukee, it's been personal. It's going to continue to be personal. So.
Stack. Should Kyrie think twice about wanting to see Milwaukee in the playoffs?
It sounds good, Kyrie. You don't mean that. You don't want to play those young guys in the playoffs. Hey, you have the best player in the world. You're probably one of the top point guards. I really don't see anybody beating them, but you want the easy road. And I don't think the easy road is through Milwaukee. They're going to continue to get better.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's great. They got Jabari Parker, but no one else on that team is averaging over 10 points per game.
Right.
No one else. So, and notice how in that clip, Kyrie Irving said in 4 games.
Not 7.
Come on. It's like Brennan Jennings, Bucks and 6. I don't know if anyone's getting excited about these two teams going against each other, but I'm excited to see Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
That guy in the playoffs would be awesome. Yeah.
I'm flashing back, though. There's two series that jump out. A couple of years ago, when those same Milwaukee Bucks, with the young kids, when they were all rookies, played the Chicago Bulls in the playoffs and took them to 6 games. Remember that?
I do.
When and anything can happen at that point when you take a team and you extend a series. Then Go back even further into distant replay. Remember when the Lakers played the Oklahoma City Thunder when they were just little kids?
Oh, that was great.
Remember that series?
Yes.
Gives you a little confidence. You don't want to speed up the development of that team.
Mm-hmm.
That team is coming. You just don't. You just take as long as they need.
The revenge of Delhi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matthew Dellavedova going to come back.
And Jabari Parker's really playing well too now.
For David Griffin, like seriously, you need to learn to get out of the way when the train is coming. Griff, duck next time. Hand the ring off to the.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our guy Boogie Cousins. Join us for another episode of As the Kings.
Oh, look
This
at
is
the
like my
Band-Aid.
favorite
Look at the
section.
Band-Aid.
May not like everything I say, I'm gonna tell the truth. If I think it's wrong, I'm gonna speak on it.
It's ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
He deserved to be out of the game for what he did. His antics are over the top. He's disrespectful, out of line. I can't respect someone like that.
I'm black and white. That's it. It's no sugarcoating. There's nothing in between. Everything's black and white with me.
Oh, man. Talk about great theater, man. It's every week. Say what you want about Boogie, but things are going well for him and the Kings since he was called out after his non-ejection Tuesday night against the Trailblazers. He scored 55 points in that win, and last night he had 21 in a win over Rudy Gobert and the Utah Jazz. And the league rescinded 2 of his texts, taking his total down to 8. Tom, the news cycle has been so kind to Boogie. But do his antics, to quote Myers Leonard, overshadow his good play on the court?
Yeah, they overshadow his play on the court because he's awesome. Like, DeMarcus Cousins is awesome, and he has every right to be frustrated, not just about the referees, but the organization itself. You want to know their last, 6 draft picks, lottery picks since drafting DeMarcus Cousins? Yorgos Papagiannis, Willie
Look at
Golly
the Greek guy saying that now.
Nick Stauskas, Ben McLemore, Thomas Robinson, and the Jimmer. The Jimmer, none of them have averaged over 10 points a game in the NBA career. Think about this. And he's got every reason to be upset. He's got 6 coaches in the NBA so far. So yeah, he's frustrated.
Okay, yeah, but he does not have a right to physically intimidate newspaper columnists.
No, that's different.
And this is not just the first time this has happened. I can understand. I read that column, and I understand certain things get under your skin, and that you do have a right to go up to anyone in a locker room and say, hey, man, I didn't like that, and talk about it. But this is now a pattern. I mean, he has a history of getting into it. He's in the locker room, and he'll freeze everybody out. If there's somebody in the media scrum that he doesn't like, he won't talk until that person leaves. Like, this is now a pattern, and I think the Kings got in front of this by finding him this substantial amount. But at this point, I'm at a place where I don't know how you repair things with Boogie in Sacramento.
Do you feel for him?
Well, I kind of do. At the end of the day, I'm familiar with the situation, feeling like you're being picked on. But at the end of the day, you got to be honest with yourself and understand you put yourself in the situation. Nobody's really getting picked on. You're letting your emotions and your passion for the game get the worst of you instead of the best of you.
Yeah.
And the thing is with him, he has to try to consider worrying about what he can control, and that's basketball. You can't worry about the referees. You can't worry about the coaches. You can't worry about everything that's going on outside the game. And I think he's doing too much of that. As far as his family, he has a right to defend his family.
Yeah.
But the media has a job to do as well. You know, he's not a bad kid or what everybody's trying to say. He's a bad kid, and he's just handling things wrong because of emotion and passion for the game. As you see, he just took 100 kids shopping for Christmas. So he's a great guy, but I think he doesn't have anyone there that he respects to tell him how to handle this
Matt
situation.
Barnes was supposed to be that guy. That was the guy the Kings went out and signed to be that veteran mentor, as a guy who also has issues with anger and controlling his emotions, but has learned to find a place and a role in the NBA.
Well, it has to be someone that's respected and also has won in the NBA.
Exactly.
There was a guy named Caron Butler who was on the team last year for that very role.
Not prime Caron Butler.
Right.
Still, old wizened Caron Butler who sits in that chair sometimes.
Right.
He was supposed to be the mentor.
I kind of feel like DeMarcus Cousins, if he's going to hear it from someone, he wants to hear it from a bona fide number 2 on the team.
Right.
Like, it's a little tougher when it's, a guy coming off the bench or a guy who's not scoring 20 points a game. And we talk about Miami today with Shaq. I mean, Shaq coming in, he won a championship with Dwyane Wade, but that is the kind of presence. I mean, I don't know if you need a Shaq on this team for DeMarcus Cousins, but I feel like if you're successful in the league and you're still in your prime, DeMarcus Cousins is going to listen.
And who was the second guy? No one.
You know what, though?
Rudy
Somebody
Gay?
said something smart to me once. If you're looking to an editor for the save, like if you're a writer and you're in a store and you're like, man, I just need an editor, help me out with this, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah, well,
Got to come from within.
I just think DeMarcus Cousins has every reason to be frustrated with the organization. They haven't found a number 2 for him, and it's been a long, long time. It's been 6 years of lottery picks that have failed.
And look who's the only player there to help him when the meeting's going. Garrett Temple, the most solid guy, the stand-up guy on the team.
Yeah.
He's willing to stand in, but how much does he respect Garrett? I respect him.
All right, guys, moving on. Boogie's former coach, George Karl, is coming out with a book called Curious George. Oh, that's an interesting title, huh? It will certainly address their relationship, but excerpts obtained by the New York Post shed light on Karl's feelings about another star player named Carmelo Anthony, whom Karl coached in Denver. Karl writes that he believes Anthony and teammate Kenyon Martin were deeply affected by not having fathers in their lives. Quote, Kenyon Martin and Carmelo carry two big burdens, all that money and no father to show them how to act like a man. Regarding J.R. Smith, Karl wrote that Smith's father, Earl Sr., urged his son to shoot the ball and keep shooting it from the very moment I put him in the game. Zach, what is your reaction to these comments?
Well, for the most part, I just feel like with George Karl, why now? Like, why go at him that, my father died this year. So, and my father probably stayed 5 minutes from me growing up. And I really didn't see him that much as growing up as a teenager. But I went to my father's house and built that relationship because I wanted it. But I'm saying that to say, if my father would have been there, George is right. I know I would have made a lot of better decisions if my father was there from day one, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
So this is the situation that a lot of black young kids have dealt with. So you can't say that and make it seem like it's a punishment because our fathers were. We don't have no control over that. But to say it another, if Pop was to say that, it would be respected even more. You know why? Because Pop has really filled in the role as a father figure for guys like me, guys like Tim Duncan. He has been that father. So if he was to say that, it would be respected because he's just not picking at us. He's actually filling that role and trying to help us. So if he wasn't trying to help these kids and be a father figure, then why say it now is the reason why I don't like it.
Yeah, and it's weird to hear a guy take down other players for wanting to get a next contract. These guys, I just looked this up. They made $339 million. Those Carmelo Anthony, Kenyon Martin, and J.R. Smith in their careers. And instead of being like, wow, think about what they came from and that the fact that these guys can grow up and be millionaires in the NBA, instead of praising them for that, Kenyon Martin was getting shot at when he was in junior high. He broke his leg his senior year in college, and he still made $100 million in the NBA. We talk about J.R. Smith meeting the president of the United States.
Exactly.
And instead of being like, wow, think about the circumstance, what they overcame to get here, it feels like the conversation is they didn't have a man in their life to teach them how to be a man. And it just seems weird to not praise them for getting out of the situations and making an amazing, amazing career in life out of it.
Awesome. That's
Yeah,
right.
let's back up. I mean, this is just excerpts. So until we read the full book, Furious George, we won't know exactly if he does praise them. But my issue when I read this, it made me sad because it plays to a stereotype, right? I mean, it plays to an old stereotype of like, if you don't have a father, you don't know how to be a man. And I also, like, when you look at George's career, George has won so many games with volatile teams. Go back to those Nuggets teams that he won. He went to the Western Conference Finals with Kenyon Martin, Carmelo Anthony, J.R. Smith. Or a couple of years before that, Allen Iverson was on that team. I mean, those are volatile personalities, and George found a way to make that group work. So then to have the legacy of those teams go down as they didn't know how to win because they didn't know how to handle adversity, they didn't have fathers in their lives. Like, I don't know. If you get a chance to write a book, you write your own history. I don't think that's the right history for him to be writing.
But what father, though, doesn't want the best for his son? You gotta make an exception for J.R. Smith's father.
All right, Jumps is getting started. Talk about what changes in the new CBA mean for the future of Chris Bosh. Plus, D-Wade says the Bulls are putting too much pressure on Jimmy Butler. We'll explain.
That's cool.
Oh, man, I love that. Welcome back to The
dope.
Jump. I'm Ramona Shelburne, sitting in for Rachel Nichols. That was Jackie McMullen. She's just the GOAT, the greatest. Telling us a story about Shaq before his jersey gets retired in Miami tonight.
Shout out to Jade Hoy, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Jade. Every time you see one of those, that's Jade Hoy doing it, and he's the best. Speaking of the Heat, Chris Bosh has not played in 10 months, but his chances to return to the court may have already changed. According to a report from Bleacher Report, Howard Beck, the new CBA will include a fitness-to-play program where players with career-threatening conditions have the option of being evaluated by an independent panel of doctors, not just their team's doctors, to see if they can return to the court. Tom, do you suspect this new option makes Bosh more or less likely to ever return to the court?
I mean, this is tough because we're not just talking about career-threatening. We're talking about, when you're talking about blood clots, we have to make sure it's not life-threatening.
Right.
And so I think that's what the doctors are there for. And I think this is going to be tough because it's a sad situation. I don't think it makes him any more likely, but I'm glad that the NBA and the Players Union are taking this very, very seriously. We have seen too many former players die early at a young age for us not to take player health to the next level. And in this CBA, they have this committee that Howard Beck is reporting on. They also have a wearables committee to make sure that biometrics, making sure everyone's heart rate.
Wearables, that's like Fitbit.
Wearables like Fitbit.
Or the sensors you put on when you sleep.
The sensors, like all this stuff, that's where the NBA is going. And a lot of it is to make sure that these players, something's not right with your heart, that they can pick it up. So I'm glad that these two committees with the NBA, we're taking player health very, very seriously.
I'm great that they decided to pay attention to this. Jeff Green dealt with it, but he was able to come back. He had a heart issue.
Cuttino Mobley?
Yeah, Cuttino Mobley. So the fact that they're doing this for Chris Bosh, somebody we all love, a great player in this league, I think it's great.
Play.
He wants to play.
He's released a series of videos on Uninterrupted, of workout videos saying, I want to play. I believe that I can play. And I think the issue here right now is whether or not he's able to make that decision for himself. Right now, the Miami Heat have their doctors who are saying, we cannot clear you to play. So what this independent panel would do is have independent doctors around the league would give the players like Chris Bosh an option to go, let's say 3 or 4 doctors, and they have a panel to review the case and then make a determination.
And everyone has their own biases going into this. I mean, Chris Bosh wants to play because this is his life, right? But also Eric Spoelstra, the coach of the Miami Heat, he was on the court when Hank Gathers died.
Oh, wow.
He was on the court.
Really?
He was the point guard for Portland when that happened. So everyone coming into this has that internal, biases, but it's really great that they're going to do this objectively with independent panels. It's just a great thing.
All right, let's go from Bosh to another former member of the Big Three, Dwyane Wade. After the Bulls lost to the Wizards last night, Wade was critical of Chicago's usage of Jimmy Butler late in games. Wade said, let's just call it what it is. We put a lot of pressure on Jimmy in the fourth quarter to make a lot of plays because we're running just one action. So we got to have more than one action, more body movement, and it's got to come from us as players too. Obviously, some of it's play calling as well. Ooh. Jack, what do you make of his comments? What is he really trying to say?
It's respect that I think he's really trying to say is, I'm here now. I'm here. Oh. He has another guy to help him in the fourth quarter. I know y'all used to throwing the ball to him and expecting him to be Superman at the end of the game for the last couple of years, but I'm an ex-champ, 3-time champ. I'm an all-star. I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm here to help him. Let me help him, and that's what he's saying.
You don't see that as a call out of coaching and play calling?
I do. Yeah, I do.
He basically said that we're running one action. So he's saying in so many words, run something from me.
I can take some of this.
Exactly.
You know what this says? You know what he says? Give me the ball. That's all he's saying. That's all he's. Last year in Miami, he had the second highest usage rate in clutch situations. He was getting buckets against the Charlotte Hornets in the playoffs. And Goran Dragic was at the bench for one of those games down the stretch. So he's coming from this situation where he got all the opportunities into the Chicago Bulls situation where he has to share the stage. And by the way, he said that Jimmy Butler is the young guy. He's 27 years old. He'd be the grandfather on the Minnesota Timberwolves. So.
You're the young guy here.
Shout out Jimmy Butler, man.
Hey, we got to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk about Shaq's jersey retirement in Miami tonight. But first, here's our distant replay from this date in the year 2000.
At the team, over the dribble, from the side, goes through the crowd.
Oh my God! Afro Kobe! Over Dirk!
Emphasis on it.
Well, Dirk,
you don't have to jump too high to dunk on Dirk.
Club because he just
Dirk didn't even try. You gotta just sit there. Get out of the way.
That was my favorite Kobe, man.
Embiid has often been compared to Hakeem Olajuwon, but Tom Haberstroh takes a deeper look inside the self-proclaimed process. Tom, what really makes his game special?
It's 3-point shooting, man. Trust the process. This dude is shooting 23 of 55 from deep this season, which is the same thing as Klay Thompson when he started his NBA career. The same exact makes, the same exact attempts. And by the way,
that's ridiculous.
Joel Embiid shooting better from deep than Steph Curry from downtown to start his career.
How does that happen?
Everyone talk about him being Hakeem and the dream. He got the dream shake down on the block. This dude is a great 3-point shooter. Unbelievable.
Special.
My favorite stat of the season. He is basically Klay Thompson.
It's time for Make or Miss. Miss! Sportsmanship. Dukes. Raymond Allen. Suspended indefinitely for chipping another opponent last night. Steven, are these incidents hurting his draft stock?
Is he a thug too? That's what they call Draymond.
Hey, you know what? You know what's hurting his draft stock? The fact that he's shooting 38% from the floor, and that's what's hurting.
Can we make that a thing, Draymond Allen? Can we make that a thing?
Yes.
He realized he's not that good. That's why he's frustrated.
Make Bubble Guts. Rodney Hood was scratched from last night's game with
When you're
stomach
sliding in the
problems.
third and you feel a juicy turd.
Oh, no!
Diarrhea.
Oh,
Diarrhea.
The game runs.
oh boy. Tommy. Miss. Blooper reels. JaVale McGee made a Dirk Nowitzki style fadeaway in the Warriors game Tuesday. Steven, is this going to be a thing now?
Even the sun shines on the dog, you know what.
Oh man, look at Steph. You got Steph dying on that. Look at Steph on the bench there. He's dying at that.
Make appreciation. The Heat will retire Shaq's jersey tonight, despite the fact that he only played in Miami for 3.5 seasons. Tom, is this necessary?
Yes, it's necessary. Without Shaq, they don't get LeBron.
Most dominant player ever.
LeBron's coming. Shaq has got to go up. Yeah.
All right. Thanks to Tom and Steven for being here. Great shirt. Great
Shout out
shirt.
to Baron
I think you
Davis,
win, Shaq.
BlackSanta.com.
Thanks for letting the Rachel host, and stay tuned for tomorrow for the holiday special.